Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, MSI, and ESEA.
Game 2, day 1 here for the ESL Pro League Finals. We're in Dallas, Texas. I'm your host, Machine. And our next one is going to be featuring a North American team here on North American soil. Not perhaps the most likely of candidates, but NRG have been an interesting conversation on analyst desks recently. We've got to see them blossom, develop, and put in a whole lot of hard work. It's actually very interesting to see this storyline finally unfold. The amount of times we thought we were getting it, Yanko, the amount of times we thought, okay, we're getting to see a new breed of Counter-Strike players who have had their fair share of poop thrown at them, and now they're finally starting to climb that ladder after finding the right mix. Is that a good way to summarize?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, we have some of the longer-standing members of the roster and members of the scene, really, guys like Fugly has been around for a very long time, been on the Liquid roster for a while, right? And now really seems to have come into his own. Daps, another guy similar to FNS, at least for me, in terms of, you know, having this more of a regimented style of in-game reading, was in this lower tier of North American CS, meaning wasn't on really Team Liquid or Cloud9. And then you have some of the guys like Ethan, who's been around for a little while, you know, in CLG, didn't really do all that much with that roster. And the two probably biggest stars of the team are Serg, the Bulgarian, and Breezy, if that's how we pronounce his name.
I think, yeah, Breezy seems to be...
I like it.
I've been calling it Breeze.
I thought it was Breeze, but apparently it's Breezy.
Oh, is it?
Not easy being Breezy.
It is not easy, and it's not easy to forget about their performance just the other day. We got to see them over in Sydney.
It does feel like just the other day, doesn't it? Look, I think the thing is, we need to point out that their coach, Imi, couldn't be here due to more visa issues. So he's British. You think it wouldn't be too hard for one of those guys to get on over here?
Didn't know how to fill out an ESTA, is it?
Yeah,
you can do it at the airport.
This is triggering me now.
I've done an ESTA.
I have to go through the whole visa ordeal, right? And guys can't even fill out an ESTA.
I did an ESTA in a coffee shop with 5 minutes to spare.
Henry did it at the airport. It took 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He
Anyway,
didn't even know it
visa conversations aside, because Yanko is genuinely triggered.
We've lost him. Yeah. Game 2.
But here's one for you. They game versus G2.
Yeah.
So they played a best of 3 versus G2 and were pretty much 2 rounds away from sending them home and continuing running the tournament. And I spoke to them in the elevator. I don't know if I should say this.
It's a lengthy conversation.
Too late. You've started now.
I spoke to the elevator, and it was Cirque, Imi, and I'm not sure if it was Breezy. There was another player in there, and Cirque just looked at me, was super, super grumpy, and was like, "My keyboard disconnected when I was diffusing." Now, do you know that round?
What?
When he was when he was trying to hold the diffusion, they were like, "What the hell? What happened?" His keyboard disconnected, so he double tapped it.
And we don't love to see it.
I'm just going to say it. It was on Overpass, and that was, of course, the 16-13 game.
You don't love to see
So
that.
that's just how the smallest of ridiculous things that go on in Counter-Strike. They were so close to being able to knock a team out like G2.
Yeah, maybe you should check your gear before you start playing.
Oh, yeah. All right,
no, I'm kidding. But
it's
not just the fact that they lost that round, it's also the mental effect it has on a player that you know you lost that round because of faulty equipment, right? It could have turned the tide of the game. I think in general for NRG it was still good tournament, you know. I mean, their losses were more impressive than their win, right? They beat Boot 2-0 pretty convincingly, and they had the narrow losses versus G2 and Astralis. And I think you could see some of the main themes about this lineup is, you know, they have good structure, a decent enough game plan, some stars that can pop up, but they do still have some issues with fundamental mistakes when they play these tier 1 teams, most notably when they play against like tier 1 oppers. Sometimes after they lose the first man to an op, you know, the second guy comes into his crosshair and they lose 2 people when there should just be 1, and then you get the trade or force him out with utility. Spacing wasn't great at sometimes, you know, they were allowing multi-kills where they really shouldn't happen. So those are some of the things that are both easy and difficult to repair in a short amount of time if players are aware of it. then it's fairly easy. But if they're not, it can be rather difficult.
Perhaps a process for them to undergo. Now, a process has been undergone for Heroic as well, in quite the largest of ways, the largest definition of that, because I don't even recognize this roster. This is not the Heroic that we at one point got excited about.
Yeah, remember they replaced S-Tag. Like, the idea was
S-Tag was kicked.
Yeah, he was on the bench, and then he had to fill in because Yugi was taking time for personal issues of some variety. Then now Yugi and Snappy have gone over to Optic, which is greener pastures. You know, we always talk about Envious as the leftovers, and then we had LDLC as the leftovers of the French scene. Heroic are the new, or the LDLC of Denmark.
I don't think that applies, because bloody Denmark has so much talent that there are no leftovers. Basically, it's just an opportunity for some of the guys that we don't know about yet, but are apparently very sick at Counter-Strike, are just going to come to Heroic now, and they're going to show what's up.
I mean, actually, we should probably stop calling them Danes, because at this point in time, like, they've got Freiburg, who's agreed to stand in. I believe it is 100% a stand-in that he's announced, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it's been.
It's like a long-term stand-in situation.
So kind of a Jacob Renegades situation.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay,
where we have no idea what's actually going on.
But that's what was announced in the news post.
It's becoming more of a trend, isn't it? The long-term stand-ins.
Modi, Freiburg, and Kroman are like the three non-Danes in this roster.
For people who don't know Kroman, he played in Dignitas with Fox and Lau and all those guys. You know,
so a bit of a kind
I wonder you never heard about them. But
6 months ago.
Yeah, I think like that's the issue right now for Heroic. This feels like a band-aid for the moment, right? But what's going on? You have S-Tag, who was benched. Now you just need a player, so he's back, probably still under contract, so that's an easy one. You get Kroman in, which is okay. You saw at times like flashes of him being like pretty good. Then you have Freiburg, who was the in-game leader while he was in Optic, so maybe that's why you brought him in. You need someone, you know, with Snappy departing the team, but apparently it's also going to be Modi who's doing it, not Freiburg. So there are a lot of, you know, pieces here that you wonder how do they actually all fit together. You have a hard time seeing how they will mesh. So I would probably expect more changes.
Let's get that veto just brushed through. We've got that one ready for you, so let's just have a little run through that one.
We're going into the unknown.
It's going to be a middle ground, and
Mirage,
there it is. Couldn't find a more middle ground than that one. Mirage will be our best.
The reason, like, going into this, we're sitting here basically with no idea is because this Heroic roster has just been thrown together at the last minute. With all the pieces falling apart, and the fact of the matter, they're only here because Hellraisers couldn't get the visa issue sorted with Woxic, and they decided not to attend. So it's not like we have a lot to go on in terms of this matchup head-to-head. I think building on something that Yanko said, with that whole NRG system, we've seen them, they look a little bit better, but their fundamentals in certain situations are poor. We've seen this time and time again. We've seen teams come out of the woodwork with a really good game plan, some individual stars who step up, some upset results, and we're like, yeah, this is looking good. As soon as they get discovered, as soon as the tendencies get noted and people are watching the demos and analyzing what they're doing, things quickly fall apart. In this matchup, I don't see that being the issue for them. I see the fact that there is a lot more, I guess, experience at high caliber Counter-Strike in the Heroic roster than that of the NRG one. So if they are making those mistakes Yanko's talking about, the Heroic guys can capitalize. And
the reason I have been so kind of wrapped up in my monitor is because I was just suddenly trying to educate myself on Kroman as much as I could. Turns out, yep, no, a Norwegian who's playing with a Norwegian name you may recognize, Zevez. I mean, I don't think I've seen him since Malmo 2016, 15? Oh God, I had to get dates get confused.
16.
It was where he was wearing Godsend and he had that cool photo with the wings behind him. It looked awesome. But I haven't seen him on stage in what feels like forever.
Yeah, I remember him one of the very early majors in Katowice, right? And then the whole the whole Norway scene kind of fell apart, and from there he did as well. Did a bit of coaching here, there, and everywhere. But look, this for Kroman, I guess this is a good opportunity for him to sell himself, right? To show that he can still that he can play Counter-Strike at a top level. Same with Freiburg, you know.
Yeah, and something that's also a big discrepancy here now with the departure of Yugi, but also Snappy, as who's going to opt for Heroic, really. You know, like Snappy was doing it in the absence of Yugi. I don't really know if it's going to be S-Tag or anyone, but Cirque is definitely going to have a big advantage here and have a lot of impact.
We'll be seeing how Heroic do fare. It does seem like a lot of doubt from the analyst desk here regarding this mishmash of stand-ins and new players alike. Heroic versus NRG with your casters.
Thank you so much, Alex. We're right into the action, and here we go. Execution coming from the T side. NRG will do what they can. Modi trying to shut them down. He'll be flashed, though, and this is not looking too good, but the flashbangs coming in thick and fast from both sides. Equal trades for now, and it will be NRG looking like they can ply quite easily here.
Yeah, Nico can't find anything on the cross. The bomb is going to go down, and Breezy keeps pushing forward. Nico, okay, those are two big kills to find with the USP, and now suddenly it's Fugly and Ethan left in a 2 versus 4 as Nico single-handedly turns the tide in this round. Ethan holding from the Palace. He's going to get dropped, and Fugly only manages one, so the pistol round going to go the way of the Mania in Scandinavia. Heroic find themselves the pistol round.
Well, there we go. There will be 2 kills of Kroman at the end. He was actually playing for Dignitas back in the minors. A player that actually looked pretty decent. He was nothing like too crazy, but he was a safe pair of hands in that squad. Seemed like he knew what he was doing. He's Norwegian. And obviously this once Danish team is kind of getting a little bit more diverse at this point. You've got Danes, Norwegians, a couple of Swedes in there with Freiburg joining as well. It's a very different Heroic than we're used to seeing, and obviously that's understandable. It's always really been the case for them in terms of losing their top talent to other teams, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But they do win that first important round. NRG certainly a favourites going into this one, but a great start from Heroic. Have found themselves in an advantageous position here, looking for that 2-0. Not a forced buy from NRG, obviously getting that bomb down, suggesting the AK's out in the third.
Yeah, now NRG, I saw a lot of these guys play over in the North American Pro League. Of course, you know, it's me and Jason taking a look at that. And they looked so good there, you know. Then obviously we saw them at IEM Sydney. I don't think they played, you know, necessarily how well they wanted to, but that was really their first sort of land, their first sort of chance to prove themselves. And they had a pretty good showing, all things considered. But, you know, I think in this sort of matchup, NRG, on paper, definitely looked like the team that should be emerging victorious, although we don't really have any sort of benchmark to go by with Heroic, right? I mean, this is such a fresh roster.
In many ways, that could help them out because obviously there's no information, so demos on how they're going to play. They're all experienced players, maybe an exception of Kroman. So we'll see. They definitely have the potential and the skill to win this one. Freiburg, obviously, hugely decorated player. Lots of experience and knows what he has to do to take down a team like NRG, who are still finding themselves. They've been to one land so far with this squad, right? They're going to have maybe an advantage in terms of the overall skill available, but in terms of experience and trying to close out games in best-of-1 environments, they could fall apart.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, in relation to that, you and I obviously worked with Freiburg over in Katowice, and you know, it was clear from speaking to him, he was kind of itching to get back, you know, in the playing field. And this is very much a chance to show that he still has what it takes. So this round going to go the way of Heroic. They keep it pretty clean. Freiburg finds himself 2, Modi in with 2 of his own. And it's the Swedes pretty much getting things done there. Heroic going to go 2-0 up, and now the buy comes in for NRG. They're going to have rifles across the board. Cirque, he doesn't have his AWP out. He's only going to be on the AK, but he's very, very proficient with the rifles as well. He's the man that everyone kind of speaks about within this NRG roster, although I think, you know, one of the unsung heroes is definitely Ethan. Yeah,
he's absolutely wild. He's so good in terms of individual skill. So we'll see whether Freiburg gets it done here. It's the force buy from NRG. He does go down first. Freiburg and S-Tag doubling up. A couple of frags coming in. Make it 3 now. As Fugly and Ethan wondering what the hell just happened there. Nice aggressive play from the CTs. Getting absolutely everything in their favor. Grenades were good. Nice teamwork. Freiburg with the double. Ethan, we know he's individually talented. Does he have what it takes to get them into this round? 0-2 right now. And Fugly has been detected towards the top and middle.
Yeah, now Freiburg, he's the man over on stairs, keeping an eye on the push out from this A-bomb site. And as he goes pushing around, Ethan's going to pick him up. 2-on-4, but can't get NRG out just yet. Ethan still creeping forward, doesn't spot Modi, and that's going to cost him his life now. It is just Fugly left alive. 1v4. He does have the bomb on his back. He was able to grab that earlier on. As he goes rotating back over here towards A, you have Nico on the stairs, ready to try and deny this bomb plant. Fugly, so many angles to keep an eye on. You can see he's got no utility to throw out to aid him in this pursuit. S-Tag as well, rotating back in over towards CT spawn. This feels like it should be a death sentence for Fugly. Doesn't spot the man as well, jump peeking over on Ticket, and I think they did spot him. You can see the rotation coming in from Modi and from Kroman. Fugly gets nothing done in Heroic. They're going to find themselves a 3rd round, once again keeping 4 players alive.
Oof. Round 4. Heroic, great round there. Nice aggression displayed. That's a great time to chuck it in as well. When you know the force buy's coming out in round number 3, they're not going to have the AWP. You can have a bit more aggression in that respect. They won't have all the Molotovs they need. So throwing some aggression there, especially one as efficient as that, is always going to be beneficial to the CTs. 3-0. And looks like a small flash attack coming in. We described this plenty of times in Sydney. A lot of teams running this strat right now. Flashbangs in from the A ramp. 4 players towards Palace. Try and get that bomb down. Trade out some kills. Can work. And we'll see if it does here.
Yeah, flash attack, name of the game. Modi He's not down to play. 3 kills, actually just 2 from him. He's still alive over on triple, buying plenty of time. Rotations come in, and while Ethan manages 1, that should be it for him. Desperate to try and get something else. The nade goes in, and that's going to finish him off. Heroic, once again, only losing 1 man here on their CT side, building up so much money. Bai's able to come back in for NRG, but once again, notably, no AWP out for Cirque. And there is going to be 1 out for S-Tag.
Oh, here we go. S-Tag with the AWP. I am not aware as to how good an AWP he is. I've never seen him do it before. Obviously, Yugi was in that role before. I don't even think it was S-Tag who's second AWP. I think I was Snappy within this team. So I have no idea. We'll see. He's definitely a skill player. Didn't see much of him when he was in the full lineup before. He was actually very poor on land, but has got a lot better since he got into that sub role. Believe it or not, that's where he actually started to look pretty decent in Pro League in general. Like, he actually looked very good. So here we go then. Round 5, Modi aggressive, of course, does get the first kill. Great one as well. The fact he knows that Ethan's going to be towards that position is fantastic. They get the opening kill, and they can fall back here. Not too much pressure. And a lovely shot there from S-Tag. So there it is, 5 on 3. So much for NRG to do here. They look quite flat. Remember, they've got no coach at this time. Imi couldn't make it, and he has been, what I've heard, instrumental in their success and getting to this point. So maybe they're feeling a bit of a pressure and not looking their usual selves with no coach being here. I think that's the pause being called at this point, almost certainly by NRG as we get to round number 6. So, Heroic, looking great. This is actually quite promising from them. 5-0, best of 1. A map they're pretty decent at generally. Modi on his screen right now. I would assume he's the in-game leader at this point. Obviously, Snappy's departure. Needs a new water, please. And we'll see whether he can get it. Like, he's obviously the most experienced player. He's been an absolute legend of the game for about 10 years or so now. And he's the most experienced in the team, and maybe Freiburg will be helping him out as well. Kind of just having a bit of a hybrid style. So Freiburg joining him with Modi, trying to work out how they operate in these big games. But I think they've got plenty of experience. There won't be an issue.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And, you know, a 5-0 start versus NRG, I think a team that a lot of people would have expected to take the W here coming into this one. And they're going to go in with this partial by Henry. They've got, you know, some Deagles, some CZs, nothing out of the ordinary. 2 flashbangs as well on Ethan, but we're not going to see that flash attack strat come in this time around. Instead, they turn their attention over here in towards middle. S-Tag there with the AWP. As you said, he taking this over from Yugi. That's some big boots to fill. There you go. He's not on about filling boots. He wants to fill body bags, but he only manages 1. Cert going to trade it back, and that's going to force S-Tag away from middle here. Breezy over on the ramp. And Modi, well, he's been very, very good from this position over here on triple. He has support from S-Tag down in CT if they do come his way. But he's going to fall out of favor with that. Start to back away. There we go. He drops the man down on ramp, now leaving it onto Cirque, Fugly, and Ethan to try and find something in this round.
4 on 3. Still possible, but maybe not now. S-Tag, another good shot from him. That's Cirque being dropped. He'll be pick up the AWP next round. He can almost guarantee that. Now he's deployed towards middle, both connecting. S-Tag does miss a shot there, but still has plenty of opportunities to make up for it. We'll see. Croman, Norwegian, getting it done. That's Fugly being dropped. Good grenade as well. That should be the round completed. And there we go. Wanting to finish things off. 6-0 now. Still not a complete nightmare for NRG. Can still recover this and win the half. Don't get too carried away until we see maybe 9-0 come through. There's S-Tag on your screen, one of the young Danes. As we'll get into the next round, it should be the AWP for Cirque. Indeed it is. They're going to fall by here. What's going to be a play? Maybe just slow things right down. Go with the default, says Heroic might start to be a little bit overzealous at this point with this great lead they've got. Freiburg on the FAMAS. He's got 11k. He has only died once.
Yeah, that's kind of the scary thing, right? You know, in every one of these buy rounds, Henry, there's been 4 or more players surviving for Heroic. So money is just no problem at this point in time. They're looking fantastic. And look at this aggression. S-Tag all the way over towards top mid. This is very, very confident from a man who back when he was in the lineup originally looked to be pretty flat. You know, we didn't see much of that confidence from him, but it's a new look S-Tag right now. Doesn't find anything on that push over in towards top mid, but you can see the effect that it's had. Now Daps is having to hang around to keep an eye on things, and Freiburg in the meantime is aggressive over here in apartments. So Heroic taking a very, very active stance, feeling out the map, trying to figure out where NRG are. That's kind of left them with no map control here. They're just going to have to go back through T-Spawn and look to try and execute out in towards this A-bomb site.
I think you're right there. Default doesn't yield any sort of pick. Smoke towards middle, just to keep attention towards that side of the map, but all 5 players heading towards A. They'll smoke up steps. Jungle, potentially CT spawn. Molotov towards Sandwich. Focus attention towards Shadow when they make their way in. And in terms of the CT setup, they'll have Nico, S-Tag, Modi, all ready and waiting, especially that AWP. Getting some decent shots so far. Will be smoked off, like I said, but boosting a player up towards Ticket Booth. He's going to be looking towards Tetris for now. And Nico, first frag, probably be traded out here. Daps will take him down and get the plant. As Modi could jump up and try and deny it, but down he goes. Good start now for NRG. Bomb down, 4 on 3.
Freiburg only just beginning this rotation around. You're going to be relying heavily here on Chroman and S-Tag to find something. Daps down in Sandwich. No kills coming in yet for Heroic. Freiburg has arrived on the scene. They still have plenty of utility to use, and that Molotov does force a man out from Palace now. Chroman leading the charge. Nice flick on out, and a second onto Fugly. Now this retake becomes very, very possible for Heroic. Cirque tries to deny what he can. And it's Chroman, 1v2, time ticks down, and Cirque, he gets the AWP in hand, and he tears Heroic apart. The first round for NRG on the back of this AWP bite.
Yeah, but Chroman makes it very expensive at least. He stormed his way in towards the A site, found 2 kills. You felt like he was going to get a few more there, but well held by Cirque as he manages to close the round out. There he is, getting it done just when they needed him. Luckily, no smoke towards his position or Molotov. That could have been an absolute disaster. The Freiburg dies for the second time, 6-1. Need to win this one. Can't afford the reset at this point. S-Tag nails a jump towards short. Spots a player. Can't quite find him, though. Still going to be picking. As Breezy will be looking to take him down here. Not going to happen just yet. So, mid-control granted for NRG. As we get into the next round. We'll see if they can maintain the advantage, but Breezy just walked into his crosshair. S-Tag gifted that one. No flashbang towards short, no smoke down. Just no awareness that boost could be a possibility. So down he goes. You will be punished for those mistakes.
Yeah, they're going to be feeling the full brunt of that as now once again they're forced back to familiar ground out here towards A. Nico this time in CT. Modi watching the cross from Jungle. Cirque going to miss that first shot. He's rang the dinner bell. Rotations coming on through. S-Tag looks to try and bolster this defense from CT. You can see Chroman rotating around as well, but it's Modi to step up first, and he's only good for 1. But he has dropped the bomb, and now NRG have to work their way over to go ahead and pick that up. They don't have any smokes. They can't nullify any of these angles. That's going to be a real problem for CT, where S-Tag and Nico currently reside. This looks like a very, very tricky round for NRG.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even get into this one. Maybe like this, if Freiburg misses a lot of shots, does do damage. 30 seconds remaining. Can't really go for anything else but the default plan. So many angles covered as S-Tag will nail that shot once again. Cirque to take him down almost certainly. But still, they maintain the advantage. Fugly low HP. Pretty much guaranteed to go down here unless an absolute blunder occurs from Chroman. They'll be peeking now. There it is. There's the kill and probably the double. Indeed it is. So well held by Heroic. That's the reset. Luckily a bomb does go down. So it won't be disastrous, but still money will not be good. 7-1 comes through. 3 players off around the 2K mark. So they can buy into this one. Cirque can even get an AWP. Breezy with the AK. The 3 of them would just be pistol only. So will they go for it? Maybe worth a pause to discuss. And indeed, the timeout is called. It will be from NRG, of course. We'll have a look as to whether they will buy here. If you had to ask me, I don't know. This is a really tough call. I would say probably just worth a partial. Get the Deagles out, smokes, go for a plant. Still early days. You haven't even lost the half yet. Let it go 8-1 if you have to, and then try and aim for 5-6 rounds after that. That would be my suggestion. But we'll see whether they go for the force buy instead. Looks like they will at least take the partial buy here. Just a Deagle purchase so far. Modi and Co looking very calm. This looks like the sort of round, just the way their body language is right now, is where they go aggressive. They're trying to decide who's pushing where, what grenades they're going to use. I've been there myself before. You just think about, okay, you do this, I'll be pushing here. So watch out for some aggression from Heroic. We'll have a look.
Well, you've looked into your crystal ball, and usually it's pretty spot on. NRG, they're going to be stacking up outside the B-bomb site. Do we see any aggression come through?
Not really, actually. S-Tag goes towards short, and they're just kind of working out what kind of money the opposition has. It will be a B setup, as you can see, 5 players towards the apartments. Freiburg does smoke them off for now. He hasn't had to do too much yet in this game. And they will head towards being one flashbang available. If he just gets one kill, maybe two, that should be it. They goes down with nothing. Maybe there's a chance. Kroman is there with him. Flashbang to go over. Cirque to throw it. They get a plant. That'll be a success in its own right, considering the buy. Very good position there. Flashbang could wreck him. There it is. He turns away, and he should be fine. Nice shot. Bomb down. And the Molotov on top of them does suggest this one is over. Nothing really to write home about. Very simple round. Well hold by Freiburg.
This is, this is a pretty dominant scoreline. Much more one-sided than I ever thought it would have been, Henry, coming into this matchup. 8-1 right now in favor of Heroic, but as you said, for NRG, you know, they take the partial buy there, and it's not over. They haven't lost the half. Well, they have lost the half, but it's not completely gone just yet. They can pull this back. Orp going to be out for Cirque. Rifles across the board. And NRG, the mates from the States, looking to try and step up now. Freiburg, he's going to head aggressively in towards lower tunnels. S-Tag peeking up towards top mid. No one crossed out just yet. Going to miss that flick, and that does allow Fugly by, but he's going to get painted up with damage before he goes. Freiburg, this is a very, very forward position here. He's going to get so much information. That's freed up that rotation you can see from Kroman. Breezy's out towards ramp. He has the rest of the team in tow. And he's about to go blow for blow with Modi here. Over towards jungle. Flash goes out. Modi turns away. He's going to get caught. Breezy able to open up.
Lovely stuff so far. NRG more of a contact play there, not giving any sort of cues whatsoever, just walking into the bomb side, knowing there's a very passive setup from Heroic. Bomb to be planted now. A chance here as Freiburg comes in with a great flank now. Applies a lot of pressure. Kroman, though, missing some shots, but could recover still. Certainly does. So keeps the dream alive. So good for this team, but a 3-on-2. They need to win this one. Freiburg starting to commit now and going to find the frag. Breezy, 3 versus 1. Surely can't do anything with this, and it's quite a clean round at the end from the Heroic boys. Money just in the toilet for NRG. You can see they look lost. Like we said, they don't have the coach here with them. And dealing with a team they don't have much information about. I don't think they're expecting this kind of firepower or level of play from Heroic. Couldn't really do their homework, just had to come and play their own game. And you can see it's affecting them. They can't really get going into it. They're not expecting the AWP of S-Tag to cover. I don't think anyone was, to be fair. It's the first game we've seen this lineup. Kroman, bit of an unknown quantity, looking very good. It surely has to be an eco here once again. NRG with just the Deagles, CZs. Bit of armor, but 10-1 looking very likely here. They're looking quite flat. A team that shocked everyone after taking Astralis to overtime. A game they should have won an overpass in Sydney. And certainly got the attention of almost all of us. But this is a performance they might want to forget. I do not see them recovering from this, but you never know. Could be fine in the end. T-side, for a team that's been together, what, less than a week, something like that, is going to be a difficulty. So just need to focus on the game. They can get 4 rounds, still very likely to be a good game.
Yeah, but we do have to see something. I mean, you know, NRG, a team that a lot of people kind of branded, you know, a lot of these players as onliners, right? Players that are only really good in that online environment. They kind of proved everyone wrong with their performance at IEM Sydney, but hoping to try and prove that wasn't just, you know, a fluke here in Dallas. Not exactly off to the best of starts. Breezy, how's he managed to get here? How's he managed this? He's going to miss that shot, but he does not miss it the second time around. Kroman bites the dust, and now they've got a Breezy in the back line. That's not going to be easy to contend with. You can see Nico going to try and step up to the mark, and he is able to get rid of him. That's a big kill to find. Cirque, well, he secured the M4 from the fallen Kroman. Down to do damage out to Modi, but he's able to get that kill somehow against overwhelming odds, leaving it now to Daps and Ethan. 2v4, Daps leads the way. I don't know if you recall, but he actually had a very, very good performance at IEM Sydney, to everyone's surprise. He's going to look to continue that form here. First kill found out to Modi. Now leaves Nico alone in CT. The bomb plant looks like a bit of a nightmare here. They've only got 10 seconds. They have to do something, and Freiburg falls. Ethan, good for 1, but that's it. Heroic, 10-1 up. Buys able to come in from NRG in this round, but Henry, I mean, time is really starting to kind of tick down for NRG to start to get some rounds on the board. I
agree, but it's never too late, especially with 4 rounds to go. Like I said, 4 would be enough. They still have the option to get 10-5 here. Well, actually, option, I say opportunity, as we'll see what happens into round 12. The AWP out again for Cirque. He's got no utility. There are 4 AKs available. As we get into the next round, very default stuff here, waiting for that aggression to come out once again. 12. No difference in terms of the setup for the CTs. I can see Chroman and Nico together, though, towards Shadow. That could be an interesting position. A bit of a bait and switch. You can see one's just got the smoke out, just in case a Molotov lands there. Put that out straight away. Set up Nico, one of the star players of the team. Bit of damage inflicted there. Cirque being tagged up. S-Tag's been decent with the AWP. Not going to criticize him at all. He's looked pretty sharp.
No, it's surprising. I definitely thought in the duel between him and Cirque, you know, Cirque could be winning that out 9 times out of 10, but no, he's looked good. He's going to be holding over here towards apartments. I don't think he's aware that Fugly's managed to slip by, and that's going to be his demise. Fugly, he's found in the entry into B, and right now, Heroic, they actually have no one else here inside of this bomb site. That's going to allow NRG just to go walking on through. Freiburg now has arrived, but there's 3 players over on short, and he is none the wiser. That nade drops out Cirque, but there's the trio over on short to just riddle Freiburg, now leaving it 3-on-4 in the retake, and Heroic very, very far away from this bomb site. They've got plenty of money. They're going to look to try and go for it. Any kill they can get is pretty massive at this point in time. Poison them for the reset, and actually Modi, he's managed to open up with 1. 2 players trapped over here on bench. The nade's doing so much damage. This utility already tagging up NRG so low. And Modi's him in a second. He's not ready for Dapsu now emerges from the woodwork, and he's going to find himself 2, leaving it Chroman. 1v1, time ticking down. He's going to get on the bomb, taps it out. He's forced Ethan to go in for the push, and he's going to manage the kill.
No defuse, though. Good try. All 5 players going down. Not the worst outcome there. Certainly had the opportunity to win it. That is to go available towards short. But all 5 players for NRG drop. They win the round, 4K per player. Lose this next one where Heroic have a full buy. This is going to finish up 13-2. So, what have they got? 4 AKs, 1 CZ. No AWP, of course. And this isn't looking too good for NRG. And they just about win that round. Luckily, Dap stepped up as he mows them down from bench. But like I said, Cirque, one of the key players, just on the pistol here. They're going for maybe a faster approach to that flashbang. 1 player out towards Tetris. S-Tag, though, opening things up. Ethan, so talented, but only good for 1. Now that's a 4-on-3, and Fugly can't find the shot. Parry, this is looking disastrous. Full reset coming in. Like I said, 13-2, very much on the cards.
You've got Cirque and Daps left alive, and as I said, you know, if you do recall, it was Daps who had a very, very good showing at IEM Sydney. Cirque as well, one of the most talked about players in this roster, so there's still a chance they can find something. The Molotov on Cirque can force Freiburg out of this position. He's going to go ahead and back away. You can see Nico tempted to rotate round, but no, he hasn't decided to do so just yet. Freiburg spots that first man. Now the rotations come through, and Freiburg just has to buy time. He's able to drop Cirque, leaving it now all onto the back of Daps in a 1v3, AK in hand, 50 seconds on the clock, and rotations are already here. Daps is going to start to back away.
Oh, yes, he is. Breezy 3-13, Fugly 3-13. Daps 5-12, and he's left in the 3 versus 1. He's got time in 35 seconds, and the bomb, almost no utility though, and half HP. Does not look good. Everyone pretty much broke now. If he doesn't get the bomb down, each player will get $1,900, actually $1,400 into the next round. So if he gets a plant, that'll be enough to at least keep them in the game, but he gets nothing for this. Could be another whitewash as we go 11-2. He gets nothing done at all, and they pretty much have to eco here, I'd say. They'll get 900 extra, it'll be enough for Galil's armor. They force here, and don't know that. They've got nothing for round number 15. This is a horrible moment. They are going to force. Pick your poison. They've gone for this. I guess they need these last 2 rounds. Yes, like I said, look great so far. Opening picks plenty with the AWP. Great work by him. He sits on 12-3. Most of his kills with the AWP. So A execution coming through. Very common approach from a T side that's desperate. CZ's P250s, every single dollar invested. Smokes down, and here comes the commitment.
Yeah, Modi up on top of Ticket. Likes to try and do damage. He spread it thinly now. It's all onto Nico just to line them up, and S-Tag doesn't want to go down here. He's not going to give anything away as S-Tag is looking very, very crisp. 4 big kills in Heroic. They lock in that 12th. The force buy once again going to come in for NRG in the last round of this half. Henry, out of 12 rounds that they've won, 7, they've managed to keep 4 or more players alive over on the side of Heroic. So money has just not been an issue for them this entire first half. And for NRG, it couldn't be more the opposite, right? They've got 2 rounds so far, and they've both just kind of been, you know, single round, single entities, not followed up by anything. Cirque, I think we've seen him have the AWP maybe 3 times in this entire first half, so...
Yeah, and 7 kills. Hasn't really worked out at all. Pretty much the absolute nightmare here for the NRG boys. 2 rounds and looking like 13-2 is almost guaranteed at this point. They'll go for another A attack, and this is looking like Modi will mow them down. They do finally commit. He can hit them all running towards the side. Guaranteed that kill. Probably gets traded out here, but NiKo does save him for a little bit. 3 on 2 with Daps 2 HP. If he even lives to tell the tale here, I don't think he'll be doing much for this round. Easy kill for Croman. That's exactly where Ethan is, but like we said, he always can be quite the plucky individual. Needs both of these to be 1-digs here. Can't find a rifle just yet. Does damage towards Freiburg. Needs this round, and it's looking good so far. As he comes through, Freiburg knows what he has to do. Ethan, so poised so far, he's won it. Absolutely so. I can see that one building up, and it's a bitter way to finish off the first half for Heroic, but still 12-3, a very good half. You can just feel like Ethan had that one all lined up. Finally, a superstar caliber play coming in there from anyone on NRG. A very rough first half. 3 kills for Breezy, 3 for Fugly. They were non-existent. They died every single round. As we get to the next half, Harry, I'm going to sneeze, so I think you just talk a little bit.
That's all good, Henry. That's fine. No worries. It happens to the best of us. Yeah, Ethan, he's looked good. It's not a sneezy problem that plagues NRG right now. It seems to be the choking variety. They're having a pretty hard time in a lot of these rounds. We very rarely see them grab a man advantage early on. And as you say, 2 players that have just been non-existent, Breezy and Fugly, usually so instrumental to the success behind this roster. The only man who's really showed up to play right now is going to be Ethan. And over on this CT side, they need to find the pistol round here at the start of the second half. Heroic setting up outside of this B-bomb site. You have Modi alone over on ramp, trying to sell the fake. He's kept 3 players here, leaving only Daps. But he's opened up with 1. They're going to go ahead and get into the site. The bomb plant looks to come through. This late flank from S-Tag, it's going to get nothing done. And Daps still causing problems over on short. Heroic yet to even find a kill between them. Freiburg and NiKo get the bomb down, and now a 2 versus 5. This is going to be near on impossible, it feels like. Freiburg misses those shots over at short, and Daps finds his second of the round. It's NiKo, one of the men painted as a star for this roster. He's able to get 1. Players from all sides, and Daps cements the hat-trick. 3 kills for him. NRG, they've won the pistol. That is the first step to success, but it's still a very lengthy road.
Well, the bomb gets planted, so the force buy in the 3rd round will come through. This should be the eco now for Heroic. That's just what NRG needed. 12-4. 2 rounds in a row now. Managed to win round number 15. Carry on that success here. 13-2 at a death sentence, but this is actually looking recoverable considering they're now on the CT side. We said Heroic, very new squad, won't have their T side completely nailed down. 1 smoke, PD50, trying to get that bomb down towards A. Not going to win this round, but hopefully get a couple of kills. Cirque, full eco in terms of the weaponry. They just full on rush. The A bomb site here, trying to get that plant. That's what they want. Will they get it? That's the question. Croman is planting. It goes down, so this is success in its own right already. They won't win the round, sure, but bomb planted. They already got it down in the previous round. They're going to have a really strong buy here up against SMGs and FAMASs. Cirque will have the AWP, I can say that much. But still, good work by Heroic. This will be a great way to get themselves into the second half. We'll have a look what they do. 5 AKs, of course, or the utility, thanks to that second plant. Do they go for a default or just try that set piece off the bat? We'll see. They throw away the MP9 NRG. They know they can't afford to lose this round. They don't have the luxury of a bonus round. They don't have that. They can't save money. Get rid of the SMGs. You can see the MP9 on the ground now. Let's focus on winning the round. We'll worry about the money later.
I mean, that's a pretty bitter pill to swallow. Fugly, this is nice from him. Aggressive in towards lower tunnels. Cirque lies in waiting connector. There's no AWP to counteract him, and he's just going to pick off Freiburg from the pack. They lose Fugly, though, in the meantime. So an equalizer found. S-Tag's worked his way up here into connector. Gonna go ahead and re-smoke that off. Cirque headed in through CT spawn, gonna get himself up on top of Ticket. He's very, very proficient over in this A-bomb site.
Well, here we go back towards A. Heroic. Oh, NiKo, low HP. Freiburg's already gone down, but still a 4-on-4. We'll execute here with 1 player towards connector. It'll be S-Tag now on the rifle. Flashbang to go over, but it feels like NRG have got this one tied up. They've got Cirque and CT Spawn. Ethan waiting in shadow. The 2 stars of the squad ready and waiting, and Cirque doesn't miss a beat usually. That time, player gets past him, but still Ethan here to convert with the good flashbang. Looks towards connector, good shot, but better trade from Modi. Cirque needs to really get stuck in here. We'll see if he can find the next kill. Can't do it. Modi takes him down, 2-on-2.
Breezy finds that though now. It is just Nico, and the Molotov might be enough to finish him off. He's forced out in the open, and Daps able to find the man with 2 HP. NRG, they're going to move on to a 6th round, but it comes down to the wire once again. And one of the things that helped Heroic out so much on their CT side was just the abundance of money. NRG, they definitely don't have that sort of luck right now.
Well, there it is, 12-6. NRG right back in this game now. Mark my words, they are not going down without a fight. They needed that pistol, which they got. Win the first gun round. Heroic still have one more buy with so many bombs being planted, but can they topple the defense? Looking for round number 13. I'm not sure it'll be happening anytime soon. Galil's AKs, lack of utility. I think set piece has to be called here. They'll send 5 players towards the B side of the map, including the bomb, just Freiburg to hold middle. So you'd assume maybe that one smoke towards short. We're seeing a lot of teams instead of doing the 2 pillar smokes now, or the arch smokes, just doing one right in the mouth for short. Dabs to try and fend them off here. Jumping up for intel, has dropped the incendiary already. And Modi right at the front of the pack, but Cirque being so good. He's all over the place, and the moment he falls back, that's when Modi crosses over.
Yeah, the timing there comes to be the bane of Cirque, but here's Daps. He's only good for 1 kill. Cirque rotating in. Missed his chance earlier on. Now he looks to try and get this swift revenge. The bomb has gone down. Ethan and Fugly rotating in. All 3 players coming in from market. This is going to be a very, very tricky retake for them, but that's a big kill from Ethan. Now it becomes possible. S-Tag gonna fall as well. It's Nico and Freiburg left to try and keep Heroic in this round. And Freiburg and Nico, they're getting the job done at Cirque. Misses the smoke onto the bomb. He has to find 2 kills, and he has to find them quickly. Time it ticking down, working against him, and he's going to miss the shot to Nico. So Heroic, they find themselves round number 13, and they've reset the economy of NRG. And now NRG, they're straight back into this very, very steep incline, this uphill battle that we saw them in earlier on.
Yeah, this is another nightmare position. They were looking so good for the comeback, but Heroic, calculated risk to take a force buy there with a couple of AKs and Galils, knowing the money would still be in a pretty difficult spot. They could steal that round away. They should take the game as well. Full eco for NRG, this USPs and a P250. No armor, 1 smoke to use an A ramp, and a stack towards that side of the map as well. Nothing in the B site. Heroic know they win this one. That could be the game, but we shall see. They win the 35. They're not going to be doing anything too hasty here. Just going to hold up, wait for the initial intel to be gathered. It'll be S-Tag with the AWP looking towards B. Knows the player is jumping up, but doesn't get the first shot off just yet.
That is a much slower round in from Heroic. They don't want to risk giving anything up to these pistols. Now Freiburg are watching the aggression in through top mid. Croman keeping an eye on aggression in through Palace and ramp. And now they smoke off window. Going to start to make their way down in towards middle. Want to try and keep these rifles at the longer angles. 3 players here with 2. Over in apartments, Daps, he's just jump peeking for the information. Cirque's gone rotating around into mid. This B play about to come through, and rotation's going to be coming in. It's Cirque and Fugly first to arrive. Daps has to try and bide some time, and he has slowed down the offensive, but Modi going to pick it up. And now this UMP here, Croman and Freiburg, they've killed the rotators, leaving it on Ethan and Breezy. Just USPs to their name. You don't fancy their odds in this round.
Certainly not. We'll see whether they can get anything done. All the damage inflicted to Freiburg and Croman, but I don't think any kills will be picked up. Maybe a bit of luck here for Breezy, but doesn't look like this will be happening. 14-6 now. So Heroic do get stuck in the second half. Just trying to take anyone down they can here. The CTs. Money, so there's a loss bonus. They'll get 1,900 next round. They've got about 3K per player right now. So money will be okay for a decent buy. Staps with 4K. I'll drop the AWP over to Cirque. Actually get the 3-0, but I've now lost round number 4 and 5. kill comes in. Breezy will just hold up towards short. Oof, so I'd say maybe someone goes down S-Tag potentially, but he does survive. All 5 players do. And here we go. Looking for match point. Heroic. But a surprise package. No one knew what to expect. Not much, to be honest, when I saw them coming into this event for a while. They'll play against some experience. They won't make much of a dent, though, but this is looking very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe kind of the reason why we might see some of these guys performing better than what we anticipated is because, you know, for a lot of them, it's like it's a chance to show that they still have what it takes. You kind of look at Croman, who hasn't really done much since being back on Dignitas. You look at Freiburg, you know, ever since he got removed from NIP, he had that stint with Optic, but since then, hasn't really got much done either. Aggression out in towards Connector here from Modi. He's gotten here very, very quickly. No one from NRG really posted up already for this, but actually, in response to this, Fugly's gone up into Palace, and this could be the linchpin. This could be the thing that makes or breaks this round for NRG. How much damage can Fugly do? He had a very, very quiet performance in the first half, having 3 kills total. Now, the hopes and dreams of NRG rest on his shoulders. Out he comes. He's able to manage one. Now just fades back into Palace. Gonna wait for the rest of the team to rally behind him. S-Tag's down in mid. The bomb not planted for him. They go ahead and lose Croman, and now it's Nico. He has to try and make a stand here as they've swarmed into the bomb site. He manages one. The smoke goes down on the bomb, but Nico, he's tearing them apart. Nico, what are you doing? He's managed himself 3, and that's going to force Cirque off the bomb. He does pick up S-Tag. Time ticks down low, and Nico 4 kills at the very end. Heroic 15-6. They're going to reach match point in style. What a performance from Nico.
Well, that should be all she wrote. Oh my goodness, Nico. We've been building him up as one of the stars of this team. Shows us why. Fantastic work as he finds his 23rd frag and potentially the game. Final buy for NRG, 15-6 down. MP9's CZ. Not looking too good. Fantastic stuff from the Dane there. AK-47 in hand. They run towards him one by one. Bit of panic towards the end. They didn't really have the kits. And Cirque with the orb, nothing he could do as we go into potentially the final round here. MP9's Scouts, CZ's. Not looking too good.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Cirque, he's pretty proficient with the Scout. Maybe he gets something done. Breezy's hiding down here as well in lower tunnels, but he's going to fall. And that's some advice taken for Heroic early on. And it's just been such a performance from these guys. They've really gone above and beyond what people, I think, expected of them. NRG being a man down. Wants to play here. Heroic aren't giving them anything to work with.
First kill comes in. What can they really do here? It's a 5-on-4. MP9's Scouts. No grenades. No defuse kit. And Heroic probably really fired up. This will be a bit of an upset, I have to say. Very early on in the tournament, but still. Heroic look quite deadly. S-Tag's been great with the orb. Nico's finding some form. Freiburg, solid as ever. Croman's looked pretty handy as well. He's had some great moments. 19 kills for him. Everyone's contributing. So yeah, 35 seconds. Looks like they'll head up towards B. There are 2 CTs waiting for them, but Fugly only with the MP9. Daps with a pistol. Surely they can't hold them off.
Well, the MP9 in a very good position to work its magic. Fugly's only managed to get himself one. Here's Cirque here with the Scout, and both these players on short painted up with damage, but Croman shuts him down. Ethan 1v4 with a Scout. Heroic looking to try and close out their first match here. Of course, coming in as the replacement for Hellraisers as well. And Ethan, he's going to be sent reeling back to the grave. Heroic, they get it done at 16-6 as they win out their first game versus NRG. This is the first time we've seen this roster actually perform on LAN, and what a showing it's been.
No one was expecting too much, and I don't think anyone's expecting a performance like that. The unknown quantity coming into this tournament, Heroic looking sharp, and I have to say S-Tag forced onto the AWP looks very good indeed. They're looking like a drilled team, and NRG have seemed to have dropped off. Maybe the fact that coach isn't here has had some problems, didn't look confident, no one seemed to really turn up at all. A couple of decent rounds from Cirque, but that was about it. It's looked like a flat unit so far, and we'll see what the analysts thought about that one. Boys, over to you on the desk.
Thank you so much. Yes, Henry and Harry, they do indeed surprise. We painted quite the bleak picture for Heroic after being ripped in tatters from the Optic roster shuffle. Didn't get to see, of course, them really land on their feet. At least that was the expectation. And they do seem to pick up quite the scalp. A 16-6, a bit of a wrecking, and some of the perhaps unlikely candidates delivering.
Yeah, we know what we say, Alex. When Freiburg's trying, his team's going to win. So here is obviously saddled up. But I think there's a sentiment we have to run with that Henry touched on towards the end of that game was everybody for the Heroic roster was contributing. You know, you saw on that CT side, that 6-0 run that they went to at the start, it was kind of like a brick wall they put up. Whatever bomb site that the NRG guys felt like they were going to go to, they got shot down time and time again. And there wasn't really much that their game plan, you know, had to offer in that sense. Felt pretty concise from the Heroic guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a problem for NRG. The same thing happened in their series against G2 in Sydney. They picked Mirage, and that's supposed to be their go-to map, and they got completely shut down on their T side there as well. It seems like if they don't get off to that strong start, really, they have issues winning consecutive gun rounds on the T side. And yes, we see a highlight from Cirque here with the AWP, but that was more or less the only one, and we expect them to have a bigger impact here where, you know, it was Aztag picking it up on the other side.
Yeah, there is no real kind of like shining light on the scoreboard either, or the entirety of NRG looking flat. Perhaps we start looking to the absence of their coach. No Imi and no success just yet.
Yeah, not a great way to start off the tournament for these guys, but let's be honest, the fact that NRG have had such a good run online, they've had that online attack. Now, we saw them do decent in Sydney, but everybody kind of was in tatters in that event. We had upset results throughout. So it's probably too early to read into whether the fact that they can keep up form that they had in Sydney or whether Heroic look like a team to beat at this point. You can't really put too much stock in, I guess, either way, right? I'm not going to sit here and say NRG, they suck. It's the first game of the day. It's the best of one. And I can't really sit there and go, and Heroic, they're looking like they're going to go deep in this tournament. It's hard to read into this matchup and really extrapolate much.
That's fair enough. I think we will hold fire on that. Something we can say is this was a spectacular round from Nico. Gets the last with the Glock of all things and closes things out for his team. Yeah,
he's always had shining moments when we've watched him previously. It was like him and Yugi as the two guys in the Heroic roster before who were putting in work, putting up numbers. The thing with Nico for me is the consistency. It doesn't seem to be every single game. Maybe that'll change now because it seems like there's more room for him to be a star player. Henry did touch on S-Tag picking up on the AWP. I remember Nico ages ago now, I saw him AWPing as well, so maybe he might go for the secondary duos. Kroman and Freiburg did their jobs, you know, so all good signs early for Heroic.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting is, you know, Kroman from the tier, what do we call, like, outside of the professional, like, well, it's not. It's a team that's playing against, they're playing against Epsilon, Godsend, like, the, you know, Valiants. That's tier 3. Okay, great. So he's from a tier 3 team. He is standing in with them, and we are getting to see him actually put on quite the show versus a rather scary adversary from the North American region, an unknown entity, and it will just be that best of one win. Now, what I want to highlight is just how important that is in the grand scheme of things. They now avoid that lower bracket, and that's a scary lower bracket, bearing in mind there is that curveball of an MVP, potentially a Na'Vi waiting for them in that lower bracket. But also, you get to that lower bracket, it's a marathon. Nearly swore there, Yanko. It's a marathon when you get to that lower bracket. To actually come out of the other side, your chances diminish dramatically.
Yeah, well, we had FaZe do it in Sydney, and Kerrigan said they had to play 17 maps over the course of a LAN tournament. That's not something that happens very often. So, yeah, it's a much more harder task to do it from the lower bracket, that's for sure.
Yeah, and now Heroic will be waiting in that upper bracket to play the winner of Na'Vi versus MVP.
Yeah, Alex, news in, they're playing a Mirage right now. The score is 13-7 to Na'Vi now on the T side.
Great. Well, we can actually go ahead and hear from the man who has had the AWP thrust into his hands, apparently, and we can see what stunner's going down on that show floor.
The show floor, that's about where you can find me, Alex. Thank you. I hope you do get a little bit better. He's feeling a little ill right now. It's really unfortunate for the guy. Either way, one man that is not ill is Freiburg. Now, this is a great showing for you guys. Let's talk a little bit about the B life, though. We were just chatting a bit about that before the cameras came on.
Yeah, the B life from Mirage is always rough, right? You get 0 to like almost no action, and when they do come, it's like full rush and you're blind. That's the B life on Mirage. But I think that, like, you know, someone has to play it, and I'm used to playing there, so I just took it.
Well, you just took it. One thing that is also being taken around here is a count of you wearing this Heroic jersey, sitting over here with these guys. Talk to me about what's been the transformation coming into this team.
Well, obviously, it's a lot different from like my previous teams here. I feel like we have a great like talent in our team, but also we have experience in me and Modi and like Nico and like these guys have been around for a while, but I still see them as like they're young guys. They have a lot of talent. So I think the integration in the team has been pretty smooth. Though we're just having a lot of fun and just trying out new things. Like we have only practiced for like 2 weeks, I think. So and we also have Chrome in here, like the stand-in for Rubinho. So we're just taking it like pretty chill here. We're just playing our game and trying just to improve day by day.
Well, one step at a time, that is the way to do it, because slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And you do have just a little bit of time before we go into the winner's match. What are you guys going to do?
Probably just chill. Take a look at the games that they played. I'm assuming we're playing Navi. I think they were leading, right? So we're probably just going to look at through the VOD, just talk about what we did good and what we can do better for next game.
All right, well, you heard it there. The king of banana, also the king of all B sites, I think is appropriate. Either way, Alex, go ahead and break this one down a little bit further.
We'll do our very best. Yeah, that's Freiburg. They didn't have a sterling performance, but heroic succeeding, and now they're just going to go ahead, get to the drawing board for Navi.
He did touch on that a bit, and he's right. You know, playing those B bomb sites, especially on Mirage, it's not a fun one. I don't envy anyone who has to play that site.
No, I mean, that is kind of the short end of the stick, Stunner. Short end of the stick. And yes, I may be a little ill, but at least I wasn't sick. We can talk about that another time. For now, we will take a break. We've got more Counter-Strike coming up after it, so don't you move a muscle. And we're going to be seeing who else is going to be going and battling in that upper bracket after a short break. ESL Pro League continues after this.